Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Just a few days ago, we received the latest points update for all the faction models. And just yesterday, we received the latest balanced data slate. But today, we won't be talking about every single faction out there, but I'll be talking about the faction which I'm most familiar with and the one that I'm playing right now, the Orks. And I'll be talking about how the points change and the updated data slate will affect the Orks. Spoiler alert, it's gonna be good. Do remember to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet. Also, do hit the notification bell to get updates on the latest videos. Now if you want to know where to find the latest points update for your army faction, make sure you head down to warhammercommunity.com, make your way to FAQs, and scroll down and find the Minitorium Field Manual 2022 Mark II. Click on it and just download it. For the balanced data slate, it's not exactly under the FAQs or downloads, but it's actually from an article. So, head down to the article section, click under all news and features, scroll down until you see the picture that has the word balanced data slate, click it, and click the download button. Now, let's get started on the points update. First up on the points update, we'll be looking at the HQ units. Now for the Beast Boss on Squigosaur, it has a reduction of 15 points, bringing it all the way down to 160 points. And Makari, a reduction of 5 points, bringing it down to 50 points. While Makari doesn't see much change, I feel that the Beast Boss on Squigosaur is the real winner here. The reason being that the Beast Boss on Squigosaur is almost like a mini Gazgul, but cheaper and nearly half the price. Remember, Gazgul's points is 300 and the Beast Boss now is 160, making him really valuable points wise. Now if you were to consider putting the Beast Boss in the Goth clan and try to match Gazgul with the same Warlord trait of Proper Killie, you would be able to dish out almost the same number of attacks. On top of that, you have a relic of choice of either 1, having additional attack with a 5+ feel no pain, or having a really overpowered weapon that deals mortal wounds on wound rolls of 6. Either way, the Beast Boss on Squigosaur is able to deal a lot of attacks, and likely even more so with the Goth's exploding 6s. And you even have a high chance of dealing multiple mortal wounds. This makes him a force to be reckoned with. Next up, for your troops, all your Beast Naga boys and Gretchen has a -1 point reduction per model. I would think that this is one of the main highlights because, for one, your Gretchen will only cost 40 points for a 10 model unit, and this is a really cheap screening option. The boys are always a classic unit to have, and they've always provided an overwhelming amount of Daka or melee attacks. Now for example, take a unit of 20 boys. If you take 20 boys with shooters, they're able to deal 60, as in 60 Daka shots within Daka range, or if you were to take them with the regular slugger and choppers, they are able to deal a total of 80 melee attacks in the Goth clan and during the war. This is the reason why they said Orks have to bring buckets of dice. Your Beast Naga boys has always been a staple troop in competitions due to their 6+ invul save and is easier to hit against vehicles or monsters. Considering that the troops are all cheaper in cost, it would be good to squeeze one more unit of troops to make your army even more deadlier. Now for the elites, just like the troops, all the burner boys, commandos, knobs and tank busters have a 1 point reduction per model. While personally, I don't see much people taking burner boys and knobs, perhaps now with the point reduction, people are more willing to take them up. The commandos are almost a must take for any competition. Reason being because they allow for redeployment further into the battlefield to secure objectives. And given that they are cheaper, makes it no excuse to have them. For tank busters, the fact that one model will suicide explode himself after using the hammer weapon to deal more mortal wounds means that you will have to take up more units. And given that it's cheaper, you might be able to do so. Now for the fast attack units, the Rakachak Squig Buggy has a reduction of 15 points, bringing it all the way down to 95 points. And for the Storm Boys, it has a 1 point reduction per model. Now the Storm Boys are a must to take in for all competitive lists. The reason is that you can speed right all the way into enemy lines, lock them in engagement and prevent enemy units from shooting or moving, making them a really powerful unit. Don't forget that because of their choppers, they are able to deal an additional hit, making them hit almost as many times as a regular boy. We can see that the Squig Buggy has a really big reduction in points, which I think is because of the change of the indirect fire rules. As you know, one of the weapon profiles will hit on 4s, the rest of them hit on 5s. Now, consider this. If your enemies are in dense cover, it is almost equivalent that for that weapon that can hit on 4s, that you will actually have to hit on 6s with an additional 2 save for the enemy unit. For those weapon profiles that hit on 5s, they are almost rendered useless. Thus, your only option for you to attack is to have a constant line of sight, and because of that, you can throw that indirect fire ability right out the window. Taking 3 Squig Buggies will seem redundant because it cannot do the job they're supposed to do. And lastly, for the heavy support, the kill rate has a reduction of 20 points, bringing it down to 190 points. Who doesn't love a kill rate? Every competitive list must take one. It is also one of the few units that allows you to take psychic actions. And for the looters, there's a reduction of 1 point per model. Honestly, I've never really played a looter before, but one thing's for sure is that they are a really Daka unit. At the same time, they will be just as deadly in the melee combat. Only if you were to upgrade them to the custom job, the Zap Krampus. Some final thoughts about the changes of the points. While I do think that speed freaks tend to dominate the current meta, having this point change actually encourages us to make a shift from taking too many vehicle units and move on to other types of lists. One thing in particular that you will see is also that they're also encouraging you to take up more Beast Naga units. As you can see, the Kill Rig, the Beast Boss, and the Beast Naga Boys all have a reduction of points. And yes, they are really good units to begin with. Another type of army that I think you will see more in the future are mob armies. Again, all your troops, all your other smaller units like your elites and your fast attack, like Storm Boys, Commandos, they're so much cheaper. Means that you can take even more of them. So because of that, we might see a comeback on mob army list. Okay guys, I've left the best for last. According to the updated Dataslate that was just released yesterday, they have made changes to the war. Alright, so in stage 1, Call the War. All your Ork core and character units are able to declare a charge even though if they've advanced this turn, it still remains the same. On top of your attacks, they've added an additional 1 to your strength characteristic to your Ork models of your army, making them so much more deadlier in melee combat. And this is the best one. This is really game changing. Your Ork models now has a 5+ invulnerable save. Wow. I mean just wow. Orks are always known to have really poor saves, and the moment there's a little bit of AP damage, oh, poof, they're just gone. But now, when there's a war, they are so much more survivable now. They're able to stay longer on the board for them to whack harder the next turn. Speaking of the next turn, in stage 2, get stuck in. The same thing, instead of having an additional attack, now there's an additional 1 to your strength, characteristic to your Orks. But do take note that in the stage 2 section of your war, your Ork models now has, instead of a 5+, it becomes a 6+ invulnerable save. Man, this is just mind-blowing. Because of the fact that your models can really survive so much longer on the board, this really toughens up the army. And like I mentioned, the fact that we might be seeing more mob style army lists, and when I say mob style, meaning that we would most likely see more boys, commandos, storm boys especially. We might even see more looters, truck boys, and things like that. That might also mean that there may not be a necessity to get Beast Naga boys, even though they are pretty good on their own. But with the invul save, I don't know, how about just a regular boy? Stick with the classics, right? So guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this video and now you understand a bit more about this points change and have an idea of how it affects the Orks and the type of armies that we might see in the future. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment and share with everyone what kind of armies you might want to make next. Also, please consider subscribing to us if you want to see more of this kind of content. Thank you so much and see you next time.